Hi folks, some of you might have seen the video that I uploaded a couple of days ago titled FireBlade was stolen, and in that video, among other things, I spoke about and showed the testing of the coils, the original coils from the FireBlade, and when I tested them, they measured 22.3 ohms in the case of one of them and 22.6 in the case of the other, which is outside the range given in the Haynes manual. The Haynes manual gives the range of 11 to 17 ohms for the HT side of the coils, which I think is called the primary circuit. I can't remember, but anyway, yeah, Haynes manual says it should be 11 to 17 ohms, and my old ones were measuring over 22 ohms, so that suggested they were faulty. And so what I did was I ordered, or bought rather, some new coils off eBay. The coils that I bought I got from a place called Brooks Barn, which is like a motorcycle parts retailer in the UK, and the coils that I got are these high performance coils. To be honest, I'm not sure whether this is a good make or not. It's just basically they were kind of like the right price. They were high level part number. Okay, top quality motorcycle for the professionals. Okay, fair enough. So these coils are about £20 and some pence each, and I wasn't sure what would be included with that, whether it would include anything at all, or whether it would include just the HT leads, or whether it would include the HT leads and the caps. It basically includes the HT leads, as you can see, but it didn't include the ignition caps, but that's fine because I bought some caps separately just to be on the safe side. I haven't got those to hand just now, but I will grab them in a minute. These are the coils. I've never bought new coils before. Obviously they look good, they're shiny new. They're the same design as the Honda ones. And so what I wanted to do was to test them and see what resistance I'm getting on them, just to get an idea of what the resistance should be on new ones, and to see whether they're in the same range that the Haynes manual specified, which I'm sure they should be, but let's just see anyway. So what I've done is I've just plugged the multimeter into the end of each of the HT leads, which is how you're meant to test the primary circuit on the coils. Again, according to the Haynes manual, I'm just going by that. So I've got my multimeter here, so it's going to turn this on, and I'm going to turn that to 20k ohms, and that's reading 14.71, 14.70, thereabouts. So that's right in the middle of the range that the Haynes manual specifies. The Haynes manual says 11 to 17 ohms. That's just a smidge under 15, so that's just kind of perfect basically. So I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to test the other one, and then I'm going to fit the caps on them and then fit them on the bike. Right, so this is the other coil that I've now got connected up. So I'm going to turn the multimeter back on and turn it to, again, 20k ohms, and it's reading 14.58 or 59, 60, 59, fluctuating a little bit, but I think that's kind of normal, and it's right in the range that it should be. So that looks good. So the next thing is just to fit the caps. Right, so these are the caps that I've got. These are actually the same make as the coils. They're by a company called High Level. I don't know if that's like the wholesaler or the manufacturer or whatever, but anyway, it's kind of like the same brand. So this is them here. These two I've installed on the HT leads. They have these rubber caps that you push over the HT lead initially, and then the cap itself, it's difficult to see because it's kind of a bit dark in here, but It's kind of got like a screw fitting, and you just screw them onto the end of the HT lead, which is what I've done with these, and they feel quite secure. If you try and pull them off, there's no giving them, they seem fine. So I'm just going to fit the other two, and then we'll fit them on the bike. So I decided it would be a good idea maybe to actually test the coil resistance with the caps in place. So what I've done is I've got the multimeter, and unfortunately these I don't know what you call them, the things on the end of the multimeter, probes maybe, I don't know, they don't actually reach right into the caps and make contact with the metal. So what I've done is, you can see as I've pressed female small spade connectors onto the end of each one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert them into the caps like that. It should go in. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Right, so, and the same with that. Right, and then hopefully they should make good contact. So what I'm going to do, we'll turn the multimeter back on and put it to 20k again. 14.8. So basically the same resistance with the caps, which is the way it should be. So that seems to suggest that they're working fine, that the whole kind of setup is working fine. So literally the only thing left to do now is to install them on the bike. So I'm just going to turn that off. Okay, so that's now the coils installed in the bike. We've got the coil here for the 2 and 3 spark plugs, and the coil for the 1 and 4 spark plugs on the right hand side, left and right, as per the Haynes manual. The coils are installed on top of the chassis brace. They're meant to be actual brackets that hold them down here, but I don't have those brackets, so I've just installed them as they are, bolted onto the top with Allen bolts. So that worked fine last time, so I don't see why it shouldn't work now. So the HT leads are connected. You can't really see because there's too much kind of clutter and wires and stuff there, but the caps are on the spark plugs now. These leads are quite long. They're a bit longer really than they needed to be, at least for some of the spark plugs. For example, the number 4 one kind of has to coil around and go back the way, because the number 4 is over here and the coil is right next to it, and then the number 1 one is kind of about the right length because it's coming right there over the other side of the engine, so that's fine. Then the number 2 and 3, they're kind of a bit too long as well, but some people I think cut the HT leads down, so you could, for example, cut down the number 4 one and make it just like a really short lead, but I didn't do that because I thought it'd probably be a good idea to leave them all the same length, because that way the resistance is going to be exactly the same on all the different spark plugs, so you should get exactly the same spark on all the cylinders, I think. That's my kind of thinking behind that. I don't know if that's really correct, but that's what I'm going with. So it's now wired in as well, so I've got the black wire which comes from the fuel cut-off relay. That's going on to the positive terminals on each of the coils, and then we've got the negative wire that goes through the CDI that controls the spark. So we've got the blue one going on to the 2 and 3, and the yellow one going on to the 1 and 4, again as per the Haynes manual. As I mentioned before, I've redone the wiring recently, so the wiring's a bit neater than it has been at some points in the past. To be honest, it's still a bit of a spaghetti junction, but it's not as bad as it has been previously. I've kind of done a bit of a better job this time at kind of keeping it a bit more under control. You've got all the kind of ignition wiring and stuff down that side, and then we've got all the other stuff, all the kind of I don't know, lights and all the rest of it coming down this side, trying to keep it all as neat as possible. So certainly a lot neater under the seat. I managed to kind of minimise that. That's just the starter relay. You've got like 4 wires there, and then you've got a few wires at the back going to the lights and indicators and what have you. So the wiring's not too bad now. So that's the new coils in, new HT leads and caps, new wiring. CDI is still the original second-hand CDI, but I have got another one to try if it still doesn't work. The pulse generator has been tested, so there's really no reason why it shouldn't start at this stage. The only other thing was I wondered if maybe the battery was a bit tired. I did test the battery and it's like under 12.5 volts, so that could possibly also be an issue. So what I've done actually is I've put some other batteries on charge, so if I'm still having problems, what I'll do is I'll just swap the battery out. So to be honest, I can't see any reason why it shouldn't start now. Unfortunately, it's at the moment it's lashing down with rain outside, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of put the bike back together again, and I'll take it out when the weather's a bit better, either tomorrow or at the weekend. I think the weather's supposed to be a bit better at the weekend, it's supposed to be quite dry, so I might, if I can have it all back together again by then, which there's no reason why not, because it only takes like 10 minutes to put these tank back on and what have you. So hopefully should have it running again at the weekend, touch wood. So watch this space, and thanks for watching.